in the tripod. I'm so fucking proud of
Yeah.
you. But I wanted to start recording because I wanted to ask you, like, without going into detail yet about what you thought of Boy and the themes and stuff, like what is at the core, bro? What was the core theme that you wanted to get to as far as like all the research you was doing? You know what I'm saying? Without going into it, because I'm going first, okay? I'm going first.
Something that really
you got a lot of ground to cover.
really piqued my interest was when Boy was introducing himself and how he was named after El Alamein, which he was named Alamein after his father, but his father was named after a place in Egypt where New Zealand forces helped defeat the Nazis. So I wanted to go back, look into that, and tell everybody kind of how that worked.
Yeah, see, I was telling you last night too. That's what I was like. See, now that kind of reinforced the idea I told you last night. Like, oh yeah, maybe Alamein was a war veteran. He fucking wasn't.
He was.
He was not. He was just a fucking idiot. But yeah. Welcome back to the second review, man. The last time we was here, we was talking about Once Were Warriors. You know what I'm saying, and how bad alcoholism has been for the Maori community. You know what I mean? Last week we had on Forrest for the starter kit to talk about one of the greatest movies ever made by the homie Taika Waititi. You know what I'm saying? The 2010 film Boy, right?
Yes.
And so every week we want to, come out with the starter kit and the review, whatever themes just really stuck out to us while we was watching it. Because, like, Boy, it's like specifically, it's just, like I said, I think it's just one of the greatest movies ever made. Definitely in my top 3. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to talk about the biggest thing that stuck out to me when I was watching it for the starter kit, bro, which was that theme of potential, right?
A lot of potential. What's that mean?
Hey, Mr. Langston. What's that mean? Potential. Yeah, so when we're introduced to potential, Boy had just gotten in trouble and he was waxing the floor. Right, he was waxing the floor, and then one of the teachers, Mr. Langston, comes out, and they have a little conversation in there that's pretty. I don't know. It was cool to watch. You know what I'm saying, to see how Boy interacts with his teachers and stuff. And so Mr. Langston tells Boy that he actually went to school with Boy's dad, Alamein, which is a cool little segue into your point. And that he mentions that Alamein was like Boy and Alamein are alike in a lot of ways. And one of the biggest things is that, they both have potential. And throughout the movie, Boy is slowly learning what that word means. But then we also see him starting to realize his. You know what I'm saying? And also, like, the flip side of that, which is wasted potential in the form of his father, Alamein.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, like, with Alamein, it's like we see him for what he is, right? Like, he's a shitty, deadbeat, loser-ass father, right? But then we also see why people said that he has so much potential. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a cool dude.
Charismatic, talks well,
you know what
connects.
I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, he was a cool dude, very charismatic. He was not a good leader, but he had leadership capabilities. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, people wanted to follow him. People wanted to join him. You know what I'm saying? So if he had just put like if he had just put that energy into something else, obviously something would have been a lot, like, his life would have been a lot more different. Yeah. But it was just cool to see, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's nothing, like throughout the movie we see Boy, he's conflicted on his feelings about his father. You know what I'm saying? He's built up this mythological version of his father. You know what I'm saying? But then he slowly realizes that that's not him, and that he actually wasn't even there. And every time the word potential gets brought up in the movie, you know what I'm saying? Like, every time potential got brought up in the movie, it was during a crucial point in the story and also in Boy's growth. You know what I'm saying? Like, he looked up the word potential in the dictionary, right? When he was with his dad in the garage. And then I feel like at that point, it was like, he figured out what it meant because of the definition. But in that scene, he was like, okay, maybe my potential is to be just like this fucking guy. You know what I'm saying? And then, but the most crucial one is the last time we hear the word said by Boy. And that's the climax of the movie. right? Is when after he fucking slaps his dad up and shit, talking shit, and then as he's walking away with him and Rocky, he's just like, I ain't got no potential.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But the irony in that is that Boy is slowly realizing his potential fully, way better than his dad did, by rejecting him and finally standing up to him. And and then the next day they go and clean the house together as a family. Like he has those qualities too. He can bring people together. You know what I'm saying? He could thrive as a leader too. So I can see the similarities between the two, but one of them made just it's their choices, right? My biggest thing
Yeah.
was um that the choices that we make play a huge part in us realizing our potential or wasting it. You know what I'm saying? Alamein wasted his by making terrible choices, and Boy is slowly but surely realizing his by making the good one. So I don't know. I just thought that was a great theme for them. Come on, dog. You know what this is. You know what I am saying,
Clip
dog.
it. Nice.
Clip it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, you know what I mean? Like it was just, I don't know. Everybody wants to harp on, like, I think obviously the biggest central theme of this movie is the father and son and Boy and how, whatever. But potential is such an underrated aspect of this movie. And it's also, I mean, maybe I'm reaching too, but this movie kind of showed Taika Waititi's potential because this is what put him on the map. You know what I'm saying? Come on, dog. You know what it is? I may be reaching here, but I mean, God bless
strings,
you,
all the strings connected to the theme. That's perfect.
Come on, bro. So that's my big contribution to this review is that the choices that we make help us and shape us in realizing our potential. You know what I'm saying? So, hopefully we can take a page out of this movie's book and be like, you know what, we're gonna make the right choices to grow the potential of this brand, of our lives, our careers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know, man. The brand is strong, though, man. What's the brand? You know what I'm saying?
Very strong foundation. Very nice. God, give it up. That was great. That was great.
It's me. It's me. Yeah, dog. That's like, I wanted to lead with that because, man, yours covers a lot of ground. And I was interested. What?
I definitely wanted to ask some more questions about potential. Like in Alamein, Shogun, Dad's potential, like, is it just that selfishness where he usually chose the selfish decision?
Man,
or and how much of his wife's death do you think played a part in him being like a leaving dad, like being gone?
Yeah, yeah, his wife definitely played a part, man, because you see it, right? Like, you see it twice. He goes to the cemetery, he doesn't go back in, but he's just like, he's waiting around there. So there's glimpses of that, right? There's glimpses of the guilt that he feels for not being there for his kids, you know what I'm saying, and losing his wife. There's glimpses of it. That's why I feel like this movie is so sad and heartbreaking, but it's also very hopeful. You know what I mean? Like there's future now. Especially at the last scene with the three of them just chilling there, like, hey, so how was Japan? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely selfishness. You know what I'm saying? He chose himself over trying to be a better father to his kids, and I mean, we look where the choices have led him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
Like, Boy is choosing to not abandon his brother and his cousins. Like he's literally the man of the house when his grandma leaves. You know what I'm saying? So like it's out of necessity. But I mean, if he so chooses, he could definitely leave too. But he doesn't, and he did it. You know what I mean?
He wants to leave for like the first half of the movie. So I'm going to the city. Gonna ride dolphins.
You know what I'm saying?
Drink cocktails.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like out of necessity, he's sitting there taking care of his family. But I mean, I feel like him seeing his dad and seeing what leaving his family would do and seeing how that affected him and his brother. It's like, all right, yeah, I guess I won't be like fucking Shogun over here. Dickhead.
Devil horn Shogun.
Yeah, for real.
In his army Kevlar hat. What is he doing with this hat? This also probably led to the like thing that we thought that maybe Alamein was a war veteran in World War II. But like as you mentioned, and I didn't even make that, Ty, until you pointed out, he probably wasn't in that war because this movie set in 1984, months after the Thriller album came out. And if we're assuming Alamein is like 30, that means Alamein was born in 1954 and the World War II ended 1945. Okay. So
see, I was telling you, like, I don't know shit about history, dog. This was like, does it? Like, no, I don't fucking know.
But you pointed that out, and then we were able to follow that. So Alamein comes from El Alamein, which is a town in Egypt. And Boy does mention that his father was named after a place that they fought in World War II. And this is where I kind of wanted to look into it more. Like, what is this battle and how is it so important like to the people in New Zealand at that time? I feel like World War II, 1940, it's still colonialization after effects times, right? So New Zealand, although I think it's its own country by then, it's still like really feeling like Britain or the Queen is their mother, like that. There's a bunch of white people there, and they're like, no, like we should protect the British. So when Britain,
we should eat beans on toast.
Yeah, when England
Vegemite. Oh, that's in Australia.
Vegemite. I think like the prime minister at this time was born in Australia, and then he jumped to New Zealand, and then declared war a couple years after that on Nazi Germany. But this is just following England's declaration of war. So all its colonies or colony countries also kind of declare war in defense of her. But that's how New Zealand brigades got put into the middle of Egypt. And especially in the North African campaign, fighting like Italian forces, like Nazi Germany, I think Italy, Russia. I needed to know the bad guys in that time. Sorry, I'm not.
No, you're good.
But then, so New Zealand is helping England, America, in Africa, trying to turn the tide. And for the longest time, for years, have been getting beaten battles, losing battles. Morale is low, like not a lot of Allied wins until this battle in Egypt that featured heavily these New Zealand battalions that were in there doing their work. So there's like a stalemate in this town of Alamein, and 2 different battles were fought there. But the first battle, the Allied forces got beat back, and the second battle is where they dealt a decisive blow to the Axis forces.
Allied powers. Yeah.
And ended up beating back their Africa Corps out of that region, which ended up turning World War II in favor of the Allied forces. But these New Zealand teams were put at like the tip of the spear, man. Like, I don't know if it was because of their ferociousness, their savagery, but the Axis forces were trying to do like a secret attack, but their transmissions got caught by the good guys, and we ended up counterattacking. New Zealand forces got sent in, broke through their lines, and then made way for the rest of the forces to come in and like sweep them out of Africa, taking over that place. And Winston Churchill, I think, said in remarks about the win in this battle that this is not the end. This may not be even the beginning of the end, but it possibly is the end of the beginning. And for so long, England, the Allied forces were getting beat down, and it felt like for the beginning of the war, it wasn't going well, and fascism and the Nazis were going to win. But after this, the tide was turned so much that it felt like the turning point in the war. So the decisive battle in the turning point of the largest world war is led by these 2 New Zealand battalions. That definitely helped, and actually they were given like an extra English brigade because they didn't have enough numbers by themselves. But these warriors, so ferocious, so skilled, always like meeting their objectives, were the tip of the spear in turning the tide for the literal war of the world in 19, I think it was 42.
Okay.
But after the war, Churchill would write that before Alamein, the Allied troops have never known a victory. After Alamein, the Allied troops never knew defeat. And they just rolled into finally, beating the Nazis. But that was dope. There's, I was reading through it. So what I read was the British government and the New Zealand government, their like historical accounts of the war. So, and then like 2 different Wikipedia pages specifically about this battle, the second battle of Alamein, or El Alamein. But it was real dope to find out that we were the leading, our people, the New Zealand people.
Don't take it away from the New Zealand people, man. They're going to get very fucking hurt and angry. We all know New Zealand and their fucking, you know what I mean? And their pride about their peoples and shit. They will fucking attack you on Twitter.
So it was dope to see like a Pacific name attached to, you know, that decisive turn of the war that helped us get to where we are today.
Hey, I mean, I guess we could, that's crazy because like the irony in that is that Alamein is not a soldier at all. He's kind of selfish, and the New Zealand soldiers at Alamein fucking they served, they served a purpose higher than themselves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And Alamein did not do any of that.
No.
Alamein, the man, is kind of terrible.
He just wore the hat.
Terrible dude.
He wore the like army hat and
was cosplaying,
delegating and freaking cosplaying. Yeah, and out here just giving directions and stuff, but not really being a selfless leader. Definitely, all the directions were for his benefit.
Right. Wait, so what was that quote again? You said it was by Winston Churchill, right? You said before Alamein, the Allies never knew victory. After Alamein, they'll never know defeat.
So he said this after the war, and he was recounting it.
Okay.
And he's basically saying the second battle of El Alamein was the turning point that rolled the Allied forces into victory of the entire war, because the battles after that kept smoking them. But they're fighting Axis forces that is now broken, having to send troops down to Africa, troops holding in Europe, troops across Europe. They're like breaking down, and each little section is able to fall because Allies are, after that win, were fighting a broken force.
Damn. Yeah. I wonder with all that historical context, why Taika decided to name that character Alamein. You know what I mean? With such historical significance. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
And Alamein is depicted as like a POS in the movie. You know what I mean? But like what I'm drawn to is the quote by Winston Churchill, right? Like before Boy knew who his father was, he was kind of like living in an ignorant bliss. Now after he knows him, he's like, you know what? I'm not that guy anymore. I don't like this guy anymore. He's now he's on the path to becoming a better person and realizing his potential. Come on, bro.
Wow. How do you wrap things up like that? That's so nice.
Come on, dog. Come on, man. Look, all I know is Alamein's a POS father, but the city of Alamein, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all, because without y'all, without the New Zealand, the Maoris over there, we wouldn't be over here talking about y'all. You know what I'm saying? So blame yourselves. It's your fault.
Shout out Egypt.
I mean? Yeah, shout out to Egypt.
Man, there's a huge battle.
Yeah. See, there's so many other things that we could talk about with this movie, right? And like like with this episode, with this series going on with the starter kit and the review, like I encourage everybody else who watches this to please hit us up. Man, we just got to comment on the Once We're Warriors one too. We got to get back to that one.
Hey,
It looked like a long laid out one, and I'm kind of scared to answer. I gotta get my facts right, bro. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. See, we need more of that. We want more interactions with the movies that we talk about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
If there's a theme that sticks out in your head when you watched it, please let us know, man. Talk to us about it, because you know what I'm saying, we be watching movies and shit, learning about stuff. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro. Shout out to us with the starter kit and the review. We got to think of another name still.
Yeah,
but we'll figure that out in due time. You know what I mean? Kind of. Fuck, it's only 10:30. It's so early. We'll definitely
so much
figure it
more
out.
potential in the day.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Yeah. Please follow us. Follow us if you got any questions, man, or if you want to just hit us up. You know what I mean? Hit us up on all socials at Oh Hello Marcus. The Uso right here. Last follow the tongue over there at Polynesian. You know what I mean? Check out the Polyticket Network with Way Back Wednesday. My Uso right here and our other Uso Sefa M. Then, of course, you got the Pasefika Movie Starter Kit. And then you got the Polyticket Podcast. You know what I'm saying? So please follow us, hit us up, talk to us, do whatever you want. Just don't insult us, man. We're sensitive. You got anything else for me, bro?
Hey, that was great, man. Roll the credits. We're out.
Roll the clip it.